Sport bikes are a type of motorcycle that are primarily used for racing, but they also find use around the world by motorcycle enthusiasts who prefer a little more excitement than just a casual cruise. Sport bikes are capable of accelerating to extreme speeds quickly and performing impressive maneuvers, thanks to their design. This technical description aims to illustrate the differences between sport bikes versus other types of motorcycles. So from the outside, a typical sport bike will look like this. First, we have the front tire, the rear swing arm suspension system. Then we have the headlights, the mirrors, the handlebars, the gas tank, the driver's seat, and the signals. But last but not least, I'd like to direct your attention to the fairings right here, or this protective shell at the front of the motorcycle. The fairings are the critical part that separates it from other types of motorcycles from the outside. So in more detail here, as you can see, the purpose of the fairings is to make the motorcycle more aerodynamic, or sport bike I should say, because that's specific to them. The idea is that it helps the motorcycle move through the air faster and more efficiently, or it's to help it cut through the air, basically. And another way to think of it is to liken it to a shark swimming through the water. The shape of the shark allows the water to flow around the shark easier than if it was, let's say, like a block. So the same idea here for the fairings. It helps the air move around the motorcycle with the least amount of resistance to it. So again, the fairings are critical for differentiating a sport bike from other types of motorcycles. Now, looking at the inside of the motorcycle, similarly, we have the exhaust system below here. Then we have the coolant system towards the front, and you can see the reservoir right here. Then we have the shocks towards the front and the dual disc brakes right here. Then we have the handlebars again, and the air box right there, and the battery. And again, last but not least, be the engine right here. And just like the fairings are to the outside of the motorcycle, the engine is to the inside of the sport bike, and differentiating it from other types of motorcycles. And the engine, up close, here is a photo of a inline 4-cylinder gasoline engine, or motorcycle engine for use for a sport bike. And these types of engines are the standard for sport bikes because they can be tuned for high performance use. In other words, what that means is that these types of motors have a higher power output at higher rotations per minute, or RPMs, than other types of motorcycles' engines, so they're perfect for racing. One thing I'd like to clarify though is that understanding how this engine works isn't important for this technical description. Understanding how this, or the process of learning how this works, would be a description in itself, so don't worry about that. Just understand that this type of motor is capable of the tuning that's necessary for sport bikes. And then also you may be wondering where the name inline 4-cylinder comes from, and as you can see right here in this transparent photograph, there are 4 cylinders here, or excuse me, 4 pistons in the cylinders, and they're all in line, so that's where the name comes from. So again, the inline 4-cylinder gasoline engine is a critical component that separates it from other types of motorcycles. So altogether, for sport bikes, compared to other types of motorcycles, there are 2 main factors that make them different. The first, for the outside, is the fairings, which makes the motorcycle more aerodynamic. And then second, we have the engine, which is tuned for high performance, specifically for racing and high performance situations, which is perfect for the sport bike and racing. So those 2 components are what make a sport bike different than other types of motorcycles. Thank you for watching. The end.